Hello, welcome back. Last time we explored how to create forms in MS Access. Now I'll expand a bit further on the topic by creating expressions to certain fields in a form. So the purpose of expressions is to automatically calculate the amount a certain field that will have based from the other fields existing right here in the form. So for example, let's set a formula for current balance. So let's switch to design view and then double click, double click current balance here, the value. And then as you can see in the property sheet, you'll need to find the control source and then click the three little dots here, and then this field, this editor, expression builder, it will allow you to make your own formulas. So let's reset it. So for the current balance, I want it to be the sum of the transaction balance and transaction amount. So I will enter equals, and then I'll find the transaction balance from here. I'll just type it, transaction balance, double click, then plus transaction amount, double click again, and then hit OK. So let's return to the form view. Now let's say we have a new transaction that we want to record. So for the ID, I want to set it as 1, and then the account number, it is existing in the database, so 4422. There. As you can see, they have an existing record at the bank with customer ID and account type. So the transaction type that they made today is deposit. And then let's say their current balance is 6,000 pesos. So I'll type in 6,000, but the transaction today that is made, it it is 1,000 pesos. I'll type 1,000, and when I hit enter, the current balance is updated now, 7,000. So let's enter it again to record. And when you look at the transactions table, it is now reflected here. And let's create additional entries. So let's say to to create additional entries, you need to keep in mind the ID. So the ID, since it already has a record, it must not, it does, it needs not to be the same. So because this is one already, I'll input the next ID, which is 2. And the account number, I'll have a couple examples here. And then transaction type, they have deposit. So type in deposit. But let's say they don't have any balance or current balance, only amount. So I'll type it amount 2,000. So as you can see, it updated to 2,000. And when we look at the transaction table, uh, when we update the transaction table here, we can see that the data is entered. So let's just set more examples. I have a couple more right here. So I did 3. Let's see, 500. Then just keep updating. I'll just keep updating it. Um, and lastly, last entry. Yeah. So let's update the transaction. As you can see, all the data that we entered are now reflected here in the transaction table. And let's see the other tables involved, which is customer, which is account. And there, as you can see, they are all updated. So that's how you build expressions within a form. So now let's move on to reports. So reports, they are uh kind of like forms, but they specifically specifically target a visual format that can be exported physically. So yeah, it is meant for additional analysis, and yeah, it contains interfaces and additional graphical designs than forms. So let's create reports by heading to create, and then report wizard. So here in the report wizard, let's create one for the customer table. So I want to select all fields here, and then this option right here, it makes us group a certain field. So what does it mean by that? So grouping, you you organize a header of sorts. You organize a initial layer that will sort the table by that specific field. So in this example, we will sort it first by the company. So I I could just select the company and then click this. And as you can see, that is the header. That is the main point of grouping. And then let's proceed to the next. And then in this right here, you will select which of the remaining fields will be our priority. So our priority here will be the customer ID. And you can arrange the existing customer IDs depending on ascending or descending order. But in this case, let's choose ascending. Next. So you can choose between the layouts right here. It all organizes them for you. And you can also choose the orientation, whether it be portrait or landscape. So let's select that. Next. And let's name it customer report. Customer report. And there. It uh as you can see, it heads us to the print preview. So this report, this is what it will look like when we print it. But when we want to modify it, let's us close it first. So just click this, close it, and there it heads you to a design view similar to the forms that lets us allow to modify the look of the report. So you can also view it like that, and and here, hold on, there we go, layout view. So here in the layout view, you can adjust the setup further. Let's say you want the report to be landscape, you can do that. Let's say you want a different size of paper, you can adjust for that. And then mm, the margins too, you can adjust it depending on what you prefer. So let's head over to design view. And then in here, you can adjust the placement of the text box, just like what we did with forms. So select all of these and just adjust it to our liking. So just expand the form there, and then and then and you see in the report there. You can see the format of the report and the header that we chose, which is the company, and then the priority field that we chosen, which is firstly the customer ID that is displayed first, and then the rest of the data. So let's create another one. Let's create another report focusing on the accounts table. So create report wizard. Select accounts table. Select it all, and then this time let us have the customer ID be the header group, and then okay, and then the priority field will be account number. Uh, uh, and in the summary options, you can opt to sort the fields uh, as a whole rather than individually. So right here, for the balance field, I'll just arrange it by sum. Next, just like before, format, and let's name it accounts report. And there you go. As you can see, it created the report with the settings that we choose. And let's modify this because it doesn't look that organized. So here in the design view, let's just shift around the text box so that all can be visible. Okay, let's view it right here. So as you can see, the hashtags that were present before, when we expanded it, it it displayed the full data. So the next thing that we want to do right here is we want to we want to summarize it further. Summarize the sum of each account further. So to do that, let's head right here to customer ID footer and erase the existing text box here. Let's delete it. And let's create a new text box. There. This text box will serve as the sum of the customer ID data. So I'll just rename this to the balance per customer. And then here, right here, just like in the earlier example, we will modify the control source to have an expression that will reflect the balance per customer. So this will become equals sum sum parentheses bracket balance. That's important. Yeah. And just adjust it. And okay, hold on. Just do some further adjusting. And there. Uh, we 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 summed all of the information before into just one text box and value. So let's do the same here in the report footer, which represents the sum of all of these accounts. So let's erase this and put in new text box. So this will be named total balance. And let's modify the property sheet control source. This time, it will be the sum, uh, just just with the parentheses balance. Balance. Okay. Let's head back to report view. Oh, okay. Ah, okay. Oh, after a bit of analysis, there it reflected that the information here, it is now summarized in this text box right here. So this 2000 4000 becomes 6000 and so on. And if you look at the bottom part of the report, it then sums all of the balance per customer. So it just sums it all up here. So that's it for creating reports. I hope you learned something today and thank you for watching.